right here is what, and I have, I'm going to read an excerpt here out of one of the research magazines. This is where it all goes down. The feud between the Dangerous Alliance and Rhodes and Steamboat was climbing to a fever pitch. Every interaction was intense and physical, leaving the wrestling fan wanting more. With each altercation, Dusty's booking built to January 16th, 1992, in Jacksonville, Florida, in front of 3,052 fans. Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton defeated Dustin Rhodes and Ricky Steamboat in a 2 out of 3 falls match that went 27 minutes and 11 seconds, Arn. Dustin got himself disqualified, giving the Dangerous Alliance the first fall. The Natural redeemed himself by pinning Bobby Eaton in the second fall. And for the third fall, Arn hit Dusty Rhodes with Paul E. Dangerously's telephone after Barry and Austin came out to interfere and fall to the back. So, Arn, here it is. The Zach Morris telephone was definitely an upgrade from the most dangerous loafer in all of pro wrestling. but you got it done, man. You and Bobby are the tag team champions. And a fun trivia note, you also won the tag team titles in Jacksonville, Florida with Tully when Barry turned on Luger in April 1988. So here you go. In 92, you do it again in Jacksonville for the tag titles.
That was a good town for us, wasn't it?
It was a good town for you, for sure.
Still a good town for me.
It still is. That's right. The headquarters.
There's somebody I know down there that got some stroke. Who was it?
Yeah. Who could it be?
I'll think of it.
Yeah, we'll come up with it. I don't even have to text the research guy on that one. But I'm not sure we've ever discussed this, Arn. But as a wrestler first and on an agent level second, how did you go about structuring a 2 out of 3 falls match, or matches in general? How would you put those together? Do you feel like there was a formula to those?
Yeah, you always put the baby faces behind the 8 ball. Heels would always get the first fall. So you had that advantage, and then you would even it up, and then it almost started like it was a brand new match. But I found it was always better to some fashion, whether it's the babyface blowing his stack and getting DQ'd or whatever, a win's a win.
I want to talk a little bit about Ricky Steamboat because he obviously comes in. He's paired with Dustin. They win the tag team titles. He's obviously the right guy. He's been, back 6 to 8 weeks. He's working the house show loop with Dustin. He's working against you and Bobby. Typically, you guys are in the semi-main event of the evening. But how beneficial was Steamboat to Dustin's development as a wrestler and even just as a tag team wrestler at this point?
Not only was he a tremendous asset and learning tool for Dustin, so we all learned from Ricky. Ricky could be very easily, when it's all said and done, the greatest babyface of all time. And if you didn't learn something working with him as a heel, you don't need to be in this business. I know every time I went to the ring, I was just amazed at how good and how smooth and how snug everything appeared to be. And he was just one of those guys that was built and born and destined for this business, and at a high level. It's hard enough to sing. I don't think you can sing his praises enough.
And if you guys need an example, just watch that last clip that we just did, Arn. Just watching him. Well, first of all, I loved how he jumped in and took the knee shot. You don't ever see that happen too often.
No, and that's storytelling.
Yeah, so good. And then your pile driver, he just took right into that move so smoothly. You're right. Everything he did. And then as far as how he took it and how he sold it, everything he did had meaning.
No weaknesses. None.
There you go. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
And Dustin was just, by osmosis, was just, in his own way, was soaking it in. If it was just watching Ricky sell and how he sold and fought back and all that, if that's all Dustin learned, that was, you couldn't buy a learning experience like that if you tried.
It's got to be just like anything else, Arn, in life. If you get to perform next to the greatest performer on stage, for a bulk of your career, if you get to play baseball with one of the best hitters and pick his brain, if you get to play football with, it doesn't matter what the case may be, and learn technique. It's just like in wrestling. If you have the ability and the privilege to be around a guy like an Arn Anderson or a guy like a Ricky Steamboat, take advantage, soak up that knowledge, and if you're a listener and coachable, sky's the limit. And Dustin was in that position here with Ricky.
Correct.